The thing that I'll never forget was there was an area there, Times Square.
Yes.
And John rang me up and said, listen, I need you to design something for this place they want to call Times Square. I said, I can't call it Times Square. What a horrible idea. He said, oh, they want to fill it up with neon and signs and do things like that. And I went, oh my God, this couldn't be worse. And when I went back to John, I said to him, hey, listen, I'll just kind of change the idea, stay with the words, but we'll base it on the theme of time, on seasons, weeks, calendar years, hours and seconds and things like that. And I had this crazy idea to do this ceiling on 3 levels of neon and then 1 vertical level running through it. Most people would have kind of just jumped all over it and killed it. But John was one of those people who went, hey, I love the idea. I'll make it happen. And he was the one that championed the idea from there. And my first roughs and everything else, I had no idea how this was going to stay in the air. Not a clue in the world. All I knew is that it was going to be the largest neon installation in the world. There was some 7.5 kilometres or something like that of neon tubing. And I remember doing the drawings for this on my desk, usually on the weekends. I would go to the office and I had these plans spread out on my desk and trying to draw these constructions for the neon on 3 different levels. Now today with a computer it would have been easy, but then trying to work it all out by hand, knowing that basically a pen line was the thickness of a strip of neon, was a seriously crazy project. And if I looked at it today, I'd have enough sense to go, it must be another way.
That was
in those days, you just didn't do it. Sorry?
That was a brilliant piece of artwork. And did you ever meet the fellow called John Barlow Hudson, who did Morning Star that sat underneath it?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
One of the, Philip Bacon, for the then Lord Mayor, working directly as it happens for a later Lord Mayor, Graham Quirk, secured nearly $4 million worth of artwork. One of the pieces was called Morning Star, which was the stainless steel sculpture that sat underneath it. There was that multifaceted.
That's right.
And it sort of reflected the lights. I mean, what was above was magical, and Morning Star made the whole centre of Times Square a very unique piece. That was saved. That's on display in our Brisbane CBD Heritage Botanical Gardens, and it was relocated for the 30th anniversary to a far better location. But it has a funny little upside story. So they relocated it and they put it directly opposite the entrance of one of the new residential tower blocks. And of course, in the afternoon, the western sun hits one of the faces, shines directly into the cars coming out of the car park. And they sort of blinded for a second. So artwork has an unusual timeline, and Times Square is a brilliant example of it.
It was interesting when I first had the idea, and I kind of shown John. He said we probably should do a test, and I remember we had about a 2-foot piece of neon tubing that we put on a crane and hoisted it to the height of the top of what we saw as the ceiling, and then we drove into the city to see what we could see if we could see it. And being able to identify a 2-foot piece of neon when I knew 7.5 kilometres of neon tubing would go up there was quite a terrifying thought in a lot of ways, because you could see this 2-foot piece of neon very clearly. And I'm going, 7.5 kilometres of that is going to be extraordinary. You've got to see it from Melbourne. that was a serious adventure. And then, but John would ring at strange times, and I actually had one of my people on site up there with John, and they'd ring with requests like the back of, I think there was a diving tower or some water feature.
Yeah,
that's right. And John would ring and go, "Hey, we need something for the back of that. Can we have it tomorrow?" And you're going, "John, give me a break. It's like going to take a bit of time, you know." And he'd be wanting things like now on a constant level, but all understood the job, and it was the adventure.
And it's great to see that that innovative culture out of Melbourne found a place to take root and grow, because I don't think South Bank up here would be what it is today without the creative genius that John Truscott and yourself and lots of others brought to World Expo 88, 32 years ago now. It's, you know, it was really quite an amazing experience for Brisbane.
You realise that I was born in Brisbane?
Oh, I didn't know that. There you go. So you find out so many interesting things when one does YouTubes.
So it was a bit of a, you know, I never really knew much about it. I came to Melbourne, my parents came down when I was very, very young. But I've always held the fascination and the belief that, you know, Queensland was kind of home. And it's kind of like I guess you'd say it's a virtual home today. But there's always been a spirit of engagement with the state. And any time I get up there, I actually really look forward to it.
Well, next time you come up, make a point of going and having a look at the Saluting Scout. Be prepared, it's formal name is, at Kangaroo Point, you know, the photo behind me.
Yes.
And you'll be it'll bring back fond memories, and you'll be very impressed by the creative mix of the two. Even if I do say so myself as the person who thought of it. So Ken, I really do thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule. I know you've got other appointments knocking at your door, so to speak, or at your video screen.
I had a China meeting last night that was postponed till this morning, so I'm about to go into that.
Yeah, that's fine. Appreciate that, and I so much appreciate you adding into the knowledge of what we're working on, and I do thank you so much. Now, I know that you have an interest in scouting.
There is a bit, yes.
Yes, and so